Good evening, mom.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this session on group discussions. Once again, this will be our last workshop session for English 1. Give me a few minutes, I will get things sorted and then we'll start with the session. All right. Not all right. People are still joining. Right. I wanted to address your concerns regarding the recorded sessions right at the outset of this final concluding session. So I've placed two links there. Those are both links to the recorded sessions on presentation skills that we had as a part of English 1 communication skills workshop. Some of you mentioned that you did not have access to this material. So, can you please click on the link and check if you're able to see the recorded video on YouTube? Just check. Let me know if you're not able to uh, listen to it or see it. All right, that is great to know.
Mom, could you pin the messages so that people who join later also can see them?
Sure.
Yes.
So, you have two messages pinned. Do you want
Yes.
me to put my statutory message once again that all sessions are recorded, you can access them, etc., etc.? I'll do that as well, just in case anybody feels confused. Workshop session. This is just to clarify. In our last session, someone had asked me about this access issue, about the link in the course calendar not providing you access to the session. So, what I've been told is that you cannot find access by requesting access. What you need to do is access the sessions through YouTube. Okay? That is why I have put in the specific YouTube links in the chat box. Hereafter, if you feel like there is an access issue in terms of recorded videos, what you need to do is go to that particular YouTube channel that we have here and then check the playlist for the session that you are looking for. Is that clear to everybody?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes,
All
ma'am.
right. Now, without much further ado, let's start with today's session. In our last class, we had gone through the basics of group discussions. Why have them in the first place? What exactly do they measure or evaluate about A candidate? What are the different roles available to candidates who are present in a group discussion? What does a leader do? And how would a leader make his opening statement, his or her opening statement? If for some reason I happen to use only the universal pronoun, don't worry about it. That's just in a manner of speaking. Whenever I say his, I also include her in it. Okay, I hope that is clear to all of you. Right. So, can somebody tell me what a leader is supposed to do? What kind of a role is a leader supposed to play in a group discussion?
Ma'am, he must be introducing the topic and
Hmm.
start initiating the group discussion.
Yes, a leader initiates and facilitates the discussion. So, in a way, it is a
He
little.
leads the discussion by an opening statement.
Yes, he starts the discussion with an opening statement. He invites others' views and thoughts on the topic. Very good. It's great to see that you are actually following our discussions. Right. Now, today we're going to look at a good leader is a listener and asks relevant questions. Yes, opens the door and leaves it open. Oh my God, Ahmed is quoting. Right, both of them are correct answers. Today we're going to look at how would a participant in a group discussion behave, or what would a participant in a group discussion do, right? So not everybody becomes a leader. Not everybody, do not think of this as a hierarchical position. It's not a hierarchical position. A leader is not more important than a participant. Rather, it's just that the leader and the participant performs different roles, like you play different roles in a play, right? What would a participant do? Now, a participant is supposed to behave, or rather strategize his contribution to the group discussion in a certain manner. Yes, Kapil, one must not clamor to be the leader, yes, but one should always be willing to be a leader. Do not try to move away from that responsibility, just don't go after it very aggressively. When you are participating in a group discussion, you need to grasp the central point in the topic. Okay, you should not get sidetracked. There might be several subsidiary concerns, but be clear in your head that you are trying to address the central concern in the topic. Okay, now you can think of the points that you are trying to contribute to the discussion. Note down these points. So you will have, if you get a question, for instance, you will have the central concerns of the topic noted down, first of all. Then you will structure your own points, the arguments or points that you wish to make around those central concerns. And when you are making your presentation, when you are speaking, you start with a clear statement of where you stand in relation to the central concern of the topic. What do you think about it? That is how you start. Okay? You do not add a great many points because you have very limited time available to you, a minute or two at the most. So you do not add several points, rather, you stick to one or two main points, right? So, first you clarify what your stance in relation to the central concern of the topic given is. Then you add one or two points at the most. And then you conclude by simply summarizing your stance or restating your stance. If you find it possible to do this, you can also open up new questions to which others could possibly contribute, or questions that others could probably answer. Now, this is optional to a participant. You need to keep that in mind. You do not always have to open up the discussion, because when you are a participant, it is already implied that others will also contribute in a similar manner. But when you are a leader, that is not optional. You could simply conclude by summarizing your stance if you are a participant in a group discussion. But if possible, open up the discussion to new avenues. Is that clear to everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Now, in addition to general topics, argumentative or debatable topics, and abstract topics, all of which are the three kinds of topics that we had discussed in our last class. Remember, there are general topics, there could be debatable topics or argumentative topics, there could also be abstract topics. Okay? In addition to all of these, you could also get some case based topics or caselets. Okay? Consider the topic that is given in front of you on the screen. Everybody can see the screen clearly, right?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Oh,
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
for the sake of anybody who might not be able to see the screen clearly, I will read out the content on the screen. Please follow the content either by reading or by listening. You are the senior manager of a software firm. Last year, your company had initiated. Is this related to FGD? No, this is not related to FGD. It is not related to FGD. And FGD can also have a case based topic, but we are not primarily discussing group discussions in the case of market research. We are discussing group discussions in the case of, in the context of a job interview or a job application, the hiring process. Right? You are the senior manager of a software firm. Last year, your company had initiated a fast track plan, a plan to speed up the company's development efforts and rapidly increase market lines by introducing one product into the market per month. While your R&D lab has been able to meet this monthly goal over the past 11 months, the quality of the products has suffered unmistakably. What do you understand from all of this? Am I just reading random words? No. Your company started a plan, a fast track plan. What is this plan? You are trying to launch new products into the market every month. Okay? And your R&D department has been able to meet this goal, but the quality has significantly gone down, right? You are unable to train employees fast enough to work efficiently, and almost all departments are overwhelmed. No one but the R&D department is happy, right? The R&D people are happy, they're doing fine, but no one other than them is happy. Moreover, since the sales and technical specialists haven't had time to develop the expertise needed to help buyers before the sale or support them after the sale, too many customers either buy the wrong product or buy the right product, but then can't get knowledgeable help when they need it. So customer service is also suffering, right? So everyone except the R&D department is suffering under this new plan. Discuss this situation with your team members and plan the next course of action. This is a case. In
Ma'am,
presence, yes, yes,
what
Aniket.
what is R&D lab?
Research and development lab.
Like what they do?
They research, they do research. Haven't you heard of an R&D lab?
No.
Research and development, I think.
Yes, so the thing is, you need to have an R&D department in place if you are planning to put new products out into the market. Any kind of products. It can be in the case of biotechnology. Biotechnology is a very obvious example. Obviously, you need a research and development if you are trying to develop a vaccine, for instance, if you're trying to develop a medicine, for instance. But it could also be anything else. It could be a food product, for all we care about. You still need to come up, you still need to do your research, and you need to develop that product. This is the R&D's work.
Okay, so how can they be happy? Like they also need manpower, right?
They do need manpower, but apparently they're able to meet their goal,
Okay,
right? Happy in the sense of they're able to put a new product into the market every month. It's not
okay,
like they're thrilled about it, but they're doing it. But no one else is able to keep up with that pace. The employees are not able to keep up. The
like
customer
the
service
people
specialists,
who work in R&D lab, they are not able to keep up.
no, they are able to keep up. They are the only ones who are able to put the market out into the market every month. Too many
Okay,
cooks spoil the broth. Okay, so this is not that. There are other departments, right? There are sales. There is the sales department. There is marketing. There is the customer support. All of them are suffering.
okay, get it
So
now.
they need more time in order to train their personnel to be able to operate effectively. So you have a problem here. This is the case. You need to identify the problem, right? And then you need to find a solution for the problem. This is the purpose of this group discussion. Now, take a look at this particular slide. This doesn't give you any new information, but it shows you how to note down the key concerns of a topic that is given to you. The underlined sections clearly tell you what are the problems that you need to address when you are strategizing or when you are planning your response. Okay? The quality of the products is suffered. Employees cannot be trained fast enough. Sales and technical specialists haven't had time to develop the expertise needed to help buyers. Too many customers end up buying the wrong product, or after they buy the product, they're not able to get the support that they need. These are the key concerns that are put out in front of you by this particular topic. So, any answer that you provide should be able to address any or all of these concerns. You plan your statement around these concerns. Remember in our last class, right, in our last class, somebody was raising the question of they gave me a topic that they had received as part of a group discussion. The case of capital punishments in as the punishment, the ultimate punishment for rape cases. Remember that topic?
Yes, yes.
Right. So, there you are similarly required to grasp the central concern of the topic. The topic does not explicitly state its central concern. It hints that what it wants to know from you is whether or not the ultimate punishment is required in all cases of rape or in all convictions of rape. Therein it becomes an argumentative topic. Similarly, in such a case based topic, you are required to jot down all the central concerns or the questions that you're supposed to answer to right when you hear the case read out. Then you plan your response around these questions. Okay? So far, so good?
Yes,
Somebody
ma'am,
have a
understood.
question? Aparna, have a question.
Ma'am, should a leader be introducing all this information that comes from the question if it is a case-based question kind of a thing?
So remember the first process, or rather the first event to be done in a group discussion is the reading out of the case, and it's not the leader who does this. It
No,
is the
no, the
panel.
moment, the panel will read the question.
Yes.
And when the leader wants to initiate, should he be talking about these points? Like they are not, the quality of the product is suffering, and
Yes,
then they're unable
the
to pay their
leader's
clients.
opening statement should draw attention to the central concerns of the topic.
Okay,
Yes,
okay.
right. Okay. Now, if you are participating in a group discussion, there are some useful phrases which you can keep in mind. Now, this is not just for a group discussion. You can use these phrases whenever the occasion presents, a fitting occasion presents in your everyday life. The purpose of introducing these phrases to you in this session is simply to open up your mind to the various ways in which you can articulate your thoughts. Because a lot of the time, I give you this presentation, you listen to me very carefully, but when it comes to speaking, when you are required to put your thoughts into words, you have trouble. So you need these little tools in order to ensure that your own articulation goes smoothly. Right. If you are trying to make a point, I would like to note here that one point that I wish to make is if you wish to agree with someone, but you have some reservations regarding it, you're not fully convinced, you have some reservations, right? Reservations in the sense a few doubts. You are mostly agreeing with them, but a few doubts. I can see where you're coming from and I agree, but, and then you add what is that particular thing that leads you to doubt them. What is your reservation regarding their point of view? That may be valid, but only in certain circumstances. Then you go on to say, what are the circumstances under which that particular point of view may not be valid? If you want to disagree with someone, this is of paramount importance. When you disagree with someone, you need to be courteous. You need to ensure that you're differing with their point of view. You're not trying to differ with the person themselves or like the people themselves, right? I beg to differ, right? I beg to differ. Why do you beg to differ? You can beg to differ because that is a very courteous way of articulating your dissent. I'm sorry, but I must disagree with you on this because why do you disagree with them? If you want to agree with someone, once again, you do not just very emphatically declare that you agree with that person. That can isolate you from the group. I second your opinion, and I would like to add that so you're not just agreeing, you're also adding to their point. In the same line of thought, but you are adding more to it. I'm glad you mentioned that because I wanted to mention something along the same lines, right? What is that something? I'm glad you mentioned that. I also think, or whatever it is that you want to say, you follow after that, right? If you want to interrupt someone who's speaking at the moment, can I add something here? Now, preferably, while I say this, it is preferable to not interrupt anybody. It is always preferable to wait until that person has finished speaking, right? You interrupt them only if the need is that severe, like you have that kind of a critical need to add to something right then and there. Otherwise, in a group discussion, you wait for your turn. That is the most courteous or the most well mannered thing to do. I would like to add on to this with that is not much of an interruption. You could add on to someone without interrupting them. So remember, you do not interrupt anybody. If you have the chance to make your point without interrupting someone, you interrupt someone only under dire situations where you need to interrupt somebody, right? Is this clear to all of you?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay.
I'm glad you mentioned that, ma'am.
Will you remember these and use this in your conversation?
We will, ma'am.
Obviously.
Definitely.
Okay. All right then. Now, here is a case study based topic. You are the area manager of the Indian vertical of a world famous USA based content streaming platform. It has been 3 years since the firm has launched its operations in India. However, there are still not enough adapters in the local market. Upon consultation with your research team, you have concluded that 1. The content provided on the streaming service is not local enough to attract Indian consumers, and 2. The cost of the streaming service per month is too high and is not affordable for the average Indian consumer. What should the next course of action for the company be? How would you discuss this with your team members? Now, can you identify the core concerns in this case study based topic?
Yes, ma'am.
There are no there are no people who are
And the
actually
price of the
wanting.
subscription is high.
Price of subscription is high. There are not
No
enough.
customers.
It
No
happened with
customers.
Netflix.
It happened with Netflix. Yes, good. Right. There is an inadequate number of subscriptions, and the reason is possibly that there isn't enough local content on the platform. No local content, high fees. Yes. Right. So what do you need to do? You need to ensure that more people sign up to this platform. And in order to ensure that more people sign up, what measures can you take? What measures can this company take? That is the core concern here. This is clear to all of you?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Right. Now, here it is. This is a sample response. If you are participating in a GD, how would you structure your response to this particular case based question? The two major problems that the streaming service faces are lack of local content and affordability. To improve affordability while still breaking even is that situation where you have neither loss nor profit. The company could explore a mobile only plan for a much cheaper price, given that most Indians get their entertainment from mobile devices, right? To improve local content, the streaming service can collaborate with budding content creators on social media to come up with original content with low production cost. These steps could improve the rate of adoption among Indian consumers. Now, this is a sample response. It is also, in a sense, an umbrella response. That is, it tries to cover all the concerns laid out in the case. If you are participating in a group discussion, it is not necessary that your response address every single facet of the question. You can calibrate a response around any one core concern of the question as well. What I'm trying to say is, let's imagine this is a group discussion. One person could make a response out of this point, and another could make a response out of this point. A third person could add on to this point. A fourth person could give a useful framework, a useful strategy through which ideal content creators can be asked to collaborate with the platform. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, you are data scientists, or I data scientists in the making. What would a data scientist's response to this question be? Can somebody offer me any one or two responses?
Ma'am, we could conduct a survey basically to understand what the requirement is,
Whose requirement is?
the customer requirement, that
Yes, the customer.
what type of content are is more fascinating to the customers, and uh, at what prices would they be enjoying, or what we can also compare it with the other markets, like if there's some other markets, other platforms in the market, then we can compare as to what prices they are giving, and what could be a
Oh,
reasonable price.
yes, very good. Very good. But I want you to slow down. I want you to pay attention to every single aspect of the answer that you just gave me. Your answer was very correct. Like everything about it was correct. But I felt like you did not lay emphasis on anything, right? Do you understand what I'm trying to tell you?
Excuse me, adding up to
Yes.
Aparna's hypothesis, I
Mm.
think with the lack of the local content, the major viewpoint in the uh, shutdown of this streaming service is that affordability is have a higher chance. I mean, the affordability is more on the basis of affordability is greater rather than the local content, because in India we all know that how much we want to save money in different things. So the major criteria for the problem should be affordability rather than the local content.
So just to add to Akash's point, suppose we start viewing at at the point of customer view, then what would be the ideal would be, first of all, I would, if it comes to me, the content would be most foremost. Even if become affordable, if content is not there, then it would be very difficult for me to pay. Why should I pay for that? So the local content, which is more accessible, which I can understand, which most of larger population can understand, would be the ideal way to go to this problem. So how we
Okay,
can.
let me stop you guys there. Let me stop you guys there. A group discussion should not be like that. Okay? Now, I have something to say to Aparna and then I'll come back to Akash and Ajay. Uh,
Okay.
Aparna, what I need to tell you is that you could have constructed an argument out of each point that you gave me. The first being that you could conduct a survey. Yes. Emphasize that particular point. Lay stress on it. Make that one of your primary contributions to the group discussion. Because it gives you a very short frame of time to articulate your response. So any one or two points that you bring to the table should be sufficiently emphasized. So lay stress on it. And next, competitor analysis. Again, lay stress on it.
Like,
Clear?
should we give more examples, kind of a thing, ma'am?
No, you just structure it differently. There are two things that I can suggest in order to address the concerns of this particular content streaming platform. The first of these, from a data scientist perspective, is that we could conduct a survey in order to measure audience expectations or customer expectations so that we can decide on what kind of content is going to sell best. Second,
So,
clear?
like, there should be more of explanation than just giving you some heads, kind of a thing.
Yes, you are very clearly articulating two suggestions, two contributions to the group discussion.
Okay.
And when you do that methodically, everybody is able to follow you.
Okay.
Clear? So your
Yes,
answer is perfectly correct, but you need to change the manner in which you articulate it.
yes. Thank you.
You're welcome. Akash and Ajay. Now, what was wrong with your discussion is that both of you assumed that just because the needs of content need to be addressed, the needs of affordability could not be addressed. That is a very counterproductive manner of thinking.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, understood. Yes, ma'am.
So, you
Y-
can think of bettering the content, you can also think of bettering the affordability. Both are concerns that plague this particular content streaming platform.
So we have to keep in mind all the criteria regarding that problem, right?
Yes, you're not trying to work against one another, you are trying to work with one another.
Okay, ma'am.
So your suggestion could be geared to remedy any one particular concern, but another person's suggestions could be geared to remedy another concern. But at the end of the day, remember that you need to remedy both of these concerns,
Yes, ma'am.
right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So those are my suggestions. Instead of just stating critical points, also illustrate desirable points. Yes, you could illustrate desirable points. Now, a couple of things that I want to say here. I can't blame you because this is a mistake that I make all the time. All the time. So I can't blame you at all. There is a difference in meaning between content and content. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
When you do not stream content, you stream content. You feel content.
Content. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, you feel content, you feel satisfied. I am satisfied, that is, I feel content. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
You
Yes, ma'am.
stream content and you feel content. That is a very important distinction to make. Similarly, there's also another word which I think I made that mistake as well: conduct and conduct. You conduct an event, the manner in which you conduct yourself, but you get a conduct certificate. That is also rather interesting. Right. Now, those are just a few suggestions which you could keep in mind as you go along. These are some don'ts about what you should not be doing when you are participating in a group discussion. Do not be parroting something that has already been said by someone else. You can agree with somebody, but even as you are agreeing with them, you should be able to add on to their point. You should not look as if you have better things to do in life than be a part of this group discussion. You should look engaged. You should look like you are in this with interest. If you're not speaking, or if you have finished speaking, then you need to pay keen attention to what others are saying. When you are speaking, be aware of the manner in which your points, or rather your views, are being received. Okay? Because this is a communicative act. At the end of the day, you want the things that you say to be understood by the people who are listening to you. You want to make sure that the things you say do not offend anybody, for no reason. So you need to be aware of how you're being received in a group. And how do you keep a track of how you're being received? You look at your interlocutors, the people that you are speaking to. You look at them. You maintain eye contact, right? You look at everybody. You do not just keep your eyes stuck on one person in the group. Your eyes travel throughout the group. This is if you are in a physical setting. If you are in an online setting, then you will need to use your words, or rather punctuate your sentences in such a manner that whoever you're talking to feels addressed. Your listeners should feel as if you're talking to them. You're not just talking at them. That is a very important distinction. They should be a part of the conversation that you are having. You can't just throw information at them and leave it at that. So if you are speaking, look at them, make sure that you are making them feel addressed. If you have already spoken, or if you are yet to speak, then listen attentively to what others are saying. At no point should you be trying to dominate the discussion. Remember that this is not a debate. You're not supposed to be rebutting. You do not have to always contradict someone else's point. This is a discussion. You can work together. You do not have to work against each other. Never, under any circumstance, make personal, sexist, or casteist remarks. Remember that the members in the group might come from different social and cultural backgrounds. It should be an inclusive group. It should be a safe place to talk. It should not be a platform where you can air out your prejudices. Be careful about the manner in which you speak. Do not make anybody feel attacked or left out. Remember, you can make an effective point without being offensive. You can communicate all your thoughts without attacking anybody. This is the kind of confidence that you need to have in your own skill of communication, so that if and when the situation presents itself, you will be able to conduct yourself in a respectable manner, in a courteous manner and dignified manner. Is that clear to all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
While
ma'am.
I am addressing this, I also need to say something else. Imagine you are the one who is feeling attacked. For whatever reason, someone else's remark really hurt you. What do you do in that situation?
There would be two cases. First of all, I would become defensive and will not speak. And the other cases, I will become offensive and obviously I will try to do debate with him.
You don't need to do either of those.
Okay.
We can just
You do
leave
not need to be defensive and
No,
refuse
ma'am.
to speak.
I'm not saying that I will do it. I'm saying
There are
this
two
these
possible
things should not be
situations.
done. These things should not
Yes,
be done.
they should not be done. That's very true. I see your point, Akash, but I am trying to tell you no, Kapil, you don't leave the group discussion. You're trying to get a job here. Okay, so you stay there. Okay, I am not saying that you need to immediately get up and walk out, right? You don't need to be on the offensive. You do not need to get unnecessarily defensive. Remember, this is what you're supposed to do. You respond to the point that the person has made, not to the person. Okay, do not make it personal. You respond only to the point that he or she has made. Trust me when I say this. Others, one second, Ayush, I'll come to that. Others who are in the group can sense if someone is being extremely disrespectful. That reflects poorly on their character, not on you. You need to be convinced of this. Yes, you respond, you do not react. You respond to the point that they made. You do not react to the person at all. Okay? And you do that response, you articulate that response in a respectful manner. And anything you want to prove wrong, you will do so in a respectful manner. You will deal with conflict in an agreeable manner that elevates your worth and your dignity in the eyes of whoever is looking to recruit you. You are trying to maximize your chances of being hired. Remember that. You are in this for a reason. You can get to that job, and all you need to do is to maintain a cool, calm composure and ensure that you have your own emotions under control. You can tell them that their offensive remark is absolutely not required. You just do that in a respectful manner. You're capable of it. I am just trying to prepare you for a very bad situation. It need not happen, but in case it happens, I do not want you to be stunned by it. Maximize your chances of getting hired. Always. Okay? Now we have a little activity here. Anybody wants to say something? I'm sorry, I was moving on without checking. Aparna, you wanted to say something?
Ma'am, ma'am,
Ah,
No, ma'am, nothing.
yes. Okay.
it was
Iris.
rather amusing that we are being respectful to those who just insulted us.
No,
Is
Iris,
it
I can't
necessary
hear
for?
you. I can't hear you. You need to be louder. Your voice is breaking a bit for me.
Is it clear, ma'am? Is it clear now?
Yes, try speaking.
Was not it amusing that somebody trying to insult us or just attack us at any weak point of us, and then we are trying to be respectful towards them?
Isn't it amusing? Yes, it is very amusing. I'm glad you're able to see the lighter side of it. It is very amusing. It is also very difficult. It is not just amusing, it's a very difficult task to do. But in a lot of ways, it speaks volumes about your character. If somebody insults you, you're not going to respond with an offensive. You're not going to stop talking. You are rather going to respond to them meaningfully, effectively, without losing your cool. Yes, it is a difficult thing to do, but it is also a possible thing to do.
I respect that demeanor, ma'am.
Okay, then somebody had some question. Yeah, how can we calm ourselves in these situations? Can you suggest something? You can calm yourself in such a situation by being sufficiently assured about your own personal worth. Every time somebody wants to attack you, they will choose some aspect of your identity or your person, your appearance, maybe it could be anything, right? You need to be assured of the fact that you are a worthwhile individual. That is the primary requirement here. If you are sufficiently assured of that, then you can respond to that person with a cool head. Yes, take a deep breath. That helps. That helps a lot. Counting backwards helps me a lot. Now, I can't count backwards a lot, so I just go from 10 to 1. 10 to 1, 10 to 1, 10 to 1, once, time after time. Yes, I do that. Deep breath helps. Remembering God. Certainly, if you are a believer, go ahead and remember the God that you believe in. Go in with the intention to get the job. But yes, Kapil is giving such quality advice to everybody. Yes, go in with the intention to get the job. You are there to maximize your chances of being hired. Never forget that. Right, now let's go through this caselet. And I want you to bring up some responses to this particular case. You are the familial inheritors to the rare artistry of Rogan textile painting. Your father, who runs the art business, does so at a very small scale level, relying only on income received from mostly foreign tourists who visit only in peak season time, the October November festival season. You, however, believe that a strong social media presence coupled with international order shipping can greatly boost sales. Your father is skeptical about this. Skeptical is doubtful about this, not too sure about this. Firstly, because he believes a lot could go wrong and money could be lost when shipping internationally. And secondly, because he does not understand the concept of social media. How would you discuss this with your three brothers so that you can convince your father to give your ideas a shot? A very interesting case, actually. Can somebody give me a few answers? Now, I'll try to call out names this time because I do want all of you to be involved in the discussion. Ashok Sinha, can you try to give me any one answer to this?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I need some time to think.
Yes, take your time to think. Avika Chaudhary.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you also come up with an answer to this? A possible answer? Don't leave the meeting just because I'm asking you to respond. If you do not want to respond, just
Ma'am, I
tell
think we
me
can.
that. Yeah, yes, go on.
Ma'am, I think we can discuss. Means if a person like we are saying that in this scenario that father doesn't know about the social media concept, we can maybe show some examples. Maybe.
Yes, what sort of examples?
Mm, if like create if we are we want to be in a creator field, so we can show some creators we have who have built it strongly in the industry, I would say.
Very good. That is a very good suggestion, Avika. So, Avika is telling us that we could just acquaint the older generation with a few examples of other creative artists who have effectively used social media in a manner of promoting their products. That is a very good idea. You can familiarize your father with the process. You can show him that there isn't a great deal of investment involved in the primary stages. Right. Now, the person that I called Ashok Sinha, I'm assuming your name is not Ashok Sinha. Can you tell me your
I,
name?
yes, ma'am. Sorry, it is my father's name. So my
That is
name is
absolutely all
Akanksha.
right. Sorry?
My name is Akanksha.
Akansha, right. Akansha, can you give us an answer maybe?
Ma'am, I had the same concept in my mind which Avika told just now. So, um,
Can you maybe address the issue of will money be lost when shipping internationally?
money. There's no chance of money getting lost because we have safe transactions these days. Technology is moving forward, so might not be any cases of money getting lost. So we maybe can convince the father in this case that money won't be lost here.
Okay, maybe start with a limited kind of international order shipping and
Yeah,
then show him, demonstrate that money is not being lost and that in
yeah,
fact money is being made. Yes, very good. Very good. That is
exactly.
a very effective manner of convincing a father. Show by example rather than by words. That is very good.
Yeah.
Anything else? Suhail, yes. Suhail, you want to say something?
We can develop the e-commerce websites with the three brothers so that it convinces our father and it also brings most of the customers into our company
Okay,
buying
he
the
wants to develop
textiles.
an e-commerce website.
And we
Would that be
can
very pricey,
socialize
Suhail?
and we can share these ideas in the social medias so that more of the uh, customers can view this and contact us.
Okay. So you want to develop a website and then maybe market aggressively. That is understandable. Yes.
Yep.
Kapil here is saying that is a very good suggestion. Replace phone by smartphone and install social media and demonstrate how to use the same. On your father's phone? Yeah, very good. Good luck with that. Yeah. So that is also actually a very good suggestion. Gradually get them habituated to the fact that social media is a new and acceptable reality. That is a very good suggestion. Fully acceptable. Ayush, why are you just agreeing with your father here? The point is that you
Conservative
are.
mindset.
No, that's okay. No, that's a very valid question. Why can't we just agree with father? The reason you're not agreeing with your father is that you are the familial inheritor of a rare artistry. You have the scope to maximize your profits, to maximize your earnings, right? You do not have to limit yourself to a small scale operation. This is not to say that you have to mass produce stuff. Your products can still be very exclusive, but you do not have to limit yourself to earnings during peak tourist season. There are several other ways of selling your product. So you are just trying to explore other avenues. Okay? In a way, you are improving on the trade. That is why we're not just agreeing with father. I hope that is clear to you. Aparna, yes, you have a question.
No, I wanted to put a point, mom. Uh,
Yes.
Here it is written that the sales of the company or the paintings happen only in a certain period of time. We
Okay.
can also understand as to where there is some demand for paintings, and we can probably go and maybe tell the father that there is there's more sales and there is more demand for your product here, and we can take you there.
Right.
Or
On an international scale, you mean?
yes, that
Okay.
in these
Understood.
countries people like they like to they like art, they appreciate art.
Mm-hmm.
Or we can show him a few art galleries kind of thing, so that he understands that there is a good scope for his market, for his
Yes.
product.
Yes. Very good. That is a very fruitful suggestion. Akash, you had a point to make?
Yes, ma'am. I would like to add a point similar to Ashok, whatever her,
No,
Akansha,
Akansha.
Akansha, yes. I had a similar point related to Akansha that we would, because generally our parents or whoever parents in this situation, parents, they sometimes doubt us. So uh, what we would do that we could just show him that I had made money by selling this picture of yours without even asking him or whatever. Just show him directly the results which we have got by selling it through social media.
Nice. You're going behind your parents' back.
Yes.
Uh, yeah. So I understand how that might or might not work. Be careful if you are doing that. But yes, if you are discussing the issue with your brothers and you wanted to demonstrate something, you could use that as a strategy. I'm just
Yes,
pointing
ma'am.
out that
Yes, I'm
it
responding in
might,
that point also. Yes, ma'am.
yes,
I'm just trying to that if I am in any situation which we are discussing, I could do this point. Either it's not liberal or not.
I understand. I understand. So you are taking a shot here. You are trying to
Suggest.
demonstrate rather than
Yes,
explain.
yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Understood. Now let's consider this last case. You are a team of five who have been working at a prominent edtech educational technology company for over 5 years. Some of you climbed the professional ladder at this company from scratch, first arriving as a student volunteer teacher, moving on to intern with the R&D vertical of the company, where you generated educational content after extensive research, then taking up a formal research position upon graduation, and finally entering the position of a junior manager for the R&D team. In recent months, you have noticed that the company has been spending 5 times the amount of money on marketing and sales than it is on R&D. R&D is research and development. Once again, in a context where circumstances of education during the pandemic are changing, or maybe even after the pandemic, the circumstances of education have indeed changed. And there is a general need for fast track innovation in educational strategies. Discuss the next course of action with your teammates regarding striking a balance between R&D and marketing or sales. Right. What is your problem here? What is the chief concern here?
The spending on R&D development is very low. Uh,
Yes, they
There
are
is much
spending more
most
on
More on
more.
sales
R&D.
and
Sales and
marketing.
marketing.
Yes. Now, how can you strike a balance between R&D and marketing and sales?
Mom, first we should majorly understand as to where the money is going. Why is it that it is costing us this much? And that is when we can address the issue
Aparna, can you
properly.
pause for a second?
Yes.
Chandramohan, unless you are making a point, can you please mute your mic? Thank you. Right. Aparna, go on.
Ma'am, I was saying that first we need to understand and analyze where the money in marketing and sales is going so much that it is 5 times the amount that is spent earlier,
Hmm.
so that we can actually come out with a proper solution.
Okay, can somebody tell me why R&D is important as sales and marketing?
Ma'am,
Yes,
Aparna
here
made
we
a very valid point first of all. And
Yes.
the R&D team also, it is very important, as it is the most, I guess, the most important branch in any company, research and department branch, because the new innovations are the main criteria, because it will make a breakthrough regarding many problems in the society also, through the research and development society. Marketing and sales is also important, but not then R&D, as R&D is very much responsible for the new innovations which can benefit the society as whole.
Very good. Without R&D, you'd be selling the same product in the same format forever. So
Just to
you do
add
need
to Akash
R&D.
point, because if you
Ah,
want to grow continuously, because over a period of time, then you need a newer and newer product to come, new innovations.
you need newer and newer innovations.
And
Very
also,
good.
as you can in this example, which is as the market is trends are also changing post pandemic. So there is a
Mhm.
change in there, which why so you to understand. So how we can change our innovation so it will be very beneficial. So how we can change a new product can development can make better growth for the overall case.
Okay, now can we arrive at a consensus of the things that Aparna said, of the things that all of you said? But for that, I need to ask Kavika. You raised your hand twice. You wanted to say something?
I was saying कि like I'm confused कि marketing and sales is there's this money spending on research and development sales. Is
I'm
that
sorry.
means is it the same company where research and developing is happening, and the marketing and sales is happening for the research and development?
No, the marketing and sales. I mean, the sales and marketing is happening for the kind of. It is an ad tech company. So essentially, they're not innovating. They're only marketing their product more and more.
The product which is being made in research and development lab, right?
That was made. That was
Was.
made at one point. Right
Ma'am,
now,
may
there
I?
is very little innovation.
So, ma'am, may I answer the question that how can we balance between the research and development and marketing sales?
Yes.
I think we can analyze, like we have spent more money in recent years, so we can analyze whether we are spending on particular on e-sales, whether it's benefiting us or not.
I think this is similar to the point that Aparna made.
Yeah, bit similar.
Yes, yes. So that is also a very good suggestion. Thank you everybody for contributing your insights. So maybe we can finally arrive at a consensus as to how this company can strike a balance between R&D and marketing and sales by looking at where the money is going. Yes, Aparna, you wanted to say something.
Ma'am, we could also kind of restructure our budget uh, to, uh, you know, uh, investing a little extra in R&D and little less this time in marketing and sales.
Yes, you could. Also, at the end of the day, if you invest more in R&D, you will be marketing a better product, most likely a better product that will sell better. Also, we can use online marketing, and I strongly think it will reduce the expense. Yes, Ayush, you can think along the lines of online marketing. So you see how this discussion progressed, didn't you? That is just something that I want you to pay attention to. Everybody contributed. Everyone's point added to the discussion. In a way, you were all working on each other's thoughts, adding to each other's thoughts. This is what a group discussion should ideally be like.
Ma'am, I just want to ask a
Yes,
question.
yes, Aniket. One second, I'm also
Uh,
going through another question in the chat box. If
so,
you,
is R&D necessary? Like in all companies, they have R&D department.
I do not have the know-how to tell you whether all companies have R&D
No,
departments.
no, ma'am. R&D department is generally in the manufacturing department. In service department there is no R&D department.
Okay, thank you, Akash, for helping us out there. Right, I hope this is clear to all of you now. That is the end of my presentation, and that is also the end of this communication skills workshop. Thank you, everybody, for having attended these sessions. I wish you all the best, and I hope you know that all of your contributions, your questions, your comments, they were all well appreciated. Like I loved the interaction. Thank you very much for being here and for interacting. I hope all of this benefits you at some point of time. All the best, and
Ma'am,
have a good.
Thank you, ma'am.
I am having a problem.
You are
Like
having a problem. What is
yes,
that problem?
in accessing the previous contents, like
So
the
I have put two links there in the chat box. They're both to the recorded sessions of English 1 Communication Skills Workshop. So if you could please check if you're able to access the sessions through those links, that'd be very nice. Yes, Aparna, you have a question?
Yes, ma'am. I wanted to ask that suppose in a group discussion, at one point of time, I am contradicting with someone's point. I'm not agreeing with some point of a person, and at some point, I am agreeing with some other person. Like I felt this, this could be put in a better way, or sometimes I felt that this is right. So is it okay to keep contradicting and agreeing with points, or it is always like you should be either contradicting or supporting?
The situation that you just mentioned, where you felt as if someone else's point could be improved, on the other hand, you agree with some other person's point. That is perfectly fine. There is
We
no
can always
requirement for it. Yes, you can.
we don't need to always kind of disagree always or agree always, right?
Absolutely not. You can't say that. The discussion is in a lot of ways spontaneous. Sometimes you might disagree, you might agree. That is perfectly fine.
Okay.
Yes, Shivakumar.
Ma'am, this the both the links are same, ma'am. Is that are you trying to send a couple of subject or the same link, because it seems to be same link?
I am not trying to send you a couple of subjects. Oh, it's the same link. Okay, right.
Yeah.
I'm just sending you the links to that particular playlist
Yeah.
where presentation skills 1 and 2 workshop sessions are there.
Yeah, ma'am. The third and fourth will come later stage, right, ma'am?
This is the fourth. I
Yeah.
haven't yet seen the third as uploaded.
Yeah.
So we'll see if and when that comes, you can access the same in the same playlist.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am.
You're welcome. Right, Akash? No, one second. Before that, we have ended the session. I am just staying back to take questions. If you are in a hurry, please feel free to leave. The session is over. Please feel free to leave if you have no questions. Right, Akash.
Ma'am, how could we practice our communication skills like speaking skills? Because sometimes I have much in my mind, but I can't elaborate it properly while speaking.
Other than to speak continuously, I do not have a suggestion. You need to be able to improve those skills very, very gradually, very slowly, by continuously talking to people. And if it is specifically communication in English that you're referring to, the easiest way is just to talk in English.
Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am, the main concern is what I have in my mind. I can't able to elaborate it properly while talking. For example, I had many things in my mind, but I just hodgepodged it while speaking like this.
Do you
So,
read, Akash?
yes, ma'am.
What do you read?
Non-fictional books, majorly like self-development type books.
Okay, self development is good, but I would ask you to read the editorial section in any English newspaper that is available to you continuously, because that section gives you a clear idea of how you can make a point.
Yes, ma'am.
So, reading that editorial section can be very helpful.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Anything else? Aparna, yes.
One last question, ma'am.
Yes.
Sometimes what happens now, ma'am, is when we are in a group discussion, uh, we don't forget, but we don't know how to frame a formal sentence. Our point might be right, but it doesn't sound that formal. Is that okay? Or we should be prepared we should be prepared very much talking formally so that we sound crisp and very formal?
Formal articulation to an extent is necessary in the context of hiring or being hired, recruitment. So, to an extent, yes, you need to be formal.
How do we
But
learn to do that formal articulation of things, ma'am?
once again, I have the same question to you. Do you read?
Yes, I do read.
What do you like to read?
I like reading some detective books. I read mystery.
Hmm.
I read little crime.
Hmm.
And I read newspaper, just the headlines.
See, that should be sufficient actually in order to learn communication. So, when you say that you are not well acquainted with formal articulation, I don't think that is true. Honestly, I'm just being honest here. I don't think that is true. I just think that in the spur of the moment, you are not able to do the same in your own speech.
Yes,
So
that's
I
good.
think it's just a question of practice.
Yes.
So you would improve a great deal just by practicing communication, talking in English to
Okay.
anybody who is available near you. Bore them to death, it doesn't matter. You just need to improve.
Oh, okay, ma'am. Thank you. You were a great guide to all of this. I told you the other day that we had a group discussion, right? So I was able to present it well enough
Oh,
with
that
the
is
first.
very good. I'm glad to hear that. Thank you very much. Right. Santosh, you
Thank
had a
you so
question.
much, ma'am.
You're welcome.
In slide number 18, the factors mentioned that R&D is very important for everything, for the sales of any company. So there is a company named Apple. They are not spending.
Santosh, I can't hear you properly. So can
Okay.
you please try to be a little clearer?
Actually, when it is raining here, that wise. My
Okay.
question is that there is
Ah,
a company. Am I audible?
yes, you are. Go on.
There is a company named Apple, which everyone is
Apple.
familiar with.
Ah,
Apple, the iPhone company.
ah.
Actually, they do not make their own displays. As we all know, they are using Samsung displays, and they are not investing in R&D to develop their own display, and still they are making huge profits, as we all know.
Okay.
So
So
my
are you
question is that
trying to say that R&D is less important than sales and marketing?
that I want to ask: is it uh, important or not? Because I mentioned an example of that
Here
company.
I can only give you my personal opinion, right? So my personal
Yeah.
opinion is that no, R&D is not less important than sales and marketing. In fact, I think R&D drives sales and marketing. But the question that I would ask you is, did Apple never innovate? Because I don't think that is true at all. I think Apple innovated a great deal. So there might be elements on which it chooses not to innovate. It chooses to just use what others have done, maybe, because that has certain advantages. But it would not be correct to think that Apple is a company that has not innovated.
No, no, it's innovative.
Yes, exactly. So, even with that example, I don't think it sufficiently demonstrates that R&D is less important than sales and marketing. I
Okay.
think the kind of research and development that Apple did contributes significantly to the manner in which it is able to market itself in the present time.
Mhm.
Does that answer your question? Again, it's
Yes, ma'am.
just
Thank you.
opinion. People can have different opinions.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah?
understand.
Oh, okay.
I
All right then. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you,
Is that all?
ma'am.
You're welcome. Anything else?
No, ma'am.
Okay, then. Thank you, everybody. That is the end of today's session. Have a wonderful evening ahead.
Thank you, ma'am.